What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on to all of my friends and family? I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold me down. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. Shout out to everybody that tuned in the after hours last night. Yeah. Pretty interesting to say the least. Yeah. It's Friday. Solution Trucking Channel says, man, you be moving around, big dog. You think so? TM says we need to pray right now. Somebody said, "Is that Tito's in the back?" Yeah, that's some Tito's vodka. We rock with Tito's. Um, I had a partnership at one point on the table for Tito's, but I got some friends that work for Tito's. Specifically, they control the whole region over here. So yes, we do rock with Tito's. What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? What up? All caps and big eyes is crazy. What's up to all of my friends and family? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. What up to all of my friends? I think the Tito's is the best tasting vodka. We did a taste test, and we was at the Pontiac racetrack. A lot of y'all may be familiar with the Pontiac racetrack. That is up the street. I'm looking at the construction workers constructing a hotel, literally right next to my building. I'm looking at Canada. I'm looking at the Detroit River. Can I show you guys my view real quick? Can I show y'all what I'm looking at? This is what we're looking at. We're looking at the construction workers working over there, the cranes. Actually, if you look down, you can see it. That's Huntington Place, GM, Canada, Detroit River. Everything is absolutely awesome. And so all is well in the town. All is well in the room. And life is absolutely awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So without further ado, we do have a full show for you guys today, as well as those that want to participate on After Hours, as well as those that want to check out the vlog. If you want to check out the vlog, you can do so. You can go to the channel. You can click this channel if you want to. And the associated channels or the channels that's attached to it, you can look down in there and you can see it and you can find it and we'll go from there. All right. So what up, friends? What's going on, y'all? Before we really get into the show, what's happening? How y'all feeling today? Fire alarm, no fire alarm today. Good morning, everyone. Says PJ, your car is in the building. Crown, what's going on? What's up, friends? How y'all feeling? Let me look at my cash apps and see if it's anybody that I need to acknowledge. The vlog is fire, good content. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can't lie. It is interesting. I didn't know what it was going to turn out to be like when I first started creating it or when I decided that I was just going to jump into it. That's the thing about me, man. Shout out to all of y'all on Cash App. That's the thing about me is that when I get an idea in my head, I don't spend a whole lot of time nurturing it, trying to figure it out. I just start doing it. I just start recording. I just start doing it. I came up when I opened my first restaurant. It took me a weekend. Took me a weekend to come to the conclusion. Saturday, I was ordering restaurant equipment. By Monday, I was signing the lease to be able to go through the space. And then by Wednesday, we already had people in there, my architect in there, and we started gutting the place because it was a former check cash and cash advance place. And so we gutted it and we started turning it into a restaurant. So that's just the way that I work. I think that people that spend a whole lot of time in the ideation phase, trying to figure it out, and the planning and the business plans and stuff, they usually don't wind up doing nothing. You at the massage salon, Ashley? I see you, Ashley. Usually, people that's always in ideation, they always got a good idea. I need to vet it out. Let me go find some investors. Let me go and put together a business plan. Man, let me tell you, bro. I ain't never put together a business plan in my life. Not one. I've opened up tons of businesses. Some has been phenomenal. Others have been not so phenomenal and not so successful. But then I transitioned the learning experience into something else. I've never in my life, not one time. Yep, analysis paralysis. I did a Patreon video on that. I've not one time, not in my life, ever put together a business plan. Never. I just started moving, man. I started getting a website together, start actually doing stuff, start buying stuff, start making it shake. I'm the true definition of faith without works is dead. Is probably the best way to describe it. Like, I just start working. I think to myself, God gonna have to catch up with my vision. God is just gonna have to catch up to me, because once I start doing it, I'm gonna see it all the way. I don't care how hard the journey is. I don't care how difficult things become. I don't care what the heck happened. I just start going. I get a vision in my head, it's on. And it don't matter if it's a new channel, it don't matter if it's content creation. I don't care what it is. I'm going. Whenever I make up my mind, that's what I'm gonna do. I just do it. And then I'll figure out how I'm gonna finish the task and the journey. I just believe that God is gonna meet me. Honestly, I truly believe that God is just gonna see me through it. Once I pray about it and I get my confirmation from God, I'm gone. And then I just be like, God, you see what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. Put the right people in place. Put this person in, give me what I need. Give me the right people around me. Give me the right insight and right information. I don't care nothing about none of that stuff. I just go. And it's more exciting that way. It's more exciting that way. It is. It's more exciting because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to fail. You don't know if, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to mix and mingle, meet this right person. And then you catch the person that's right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come into your life and step into your life and be like, Anton, you know what? I'm supposed to be, let's do this together. And you be like, oh, I see you, God. I see you. And it's just more exciting that way. So, if you already had it mapped out, if you knew the exact date and time that you were going to die, life would be crazy. It would be but to be excited about it and not to know, and you know what I'm saying? That means that you got to live every day like it's your last. You got to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Every time you make love with everything you got into you. Every time you go to the game, you would be screaming because nothing would matter. If you knew, let's say, for example, hypothetically, God forbid, that next week it was going to be over for you. You know what you would be doing? You would be at the game screaming. You wouldn't care what nobody thought about you. When I walk down the street and I'm recording a vlog and stuff like that or whatever, man, I don't see nobody. I don't see nobody. I don't care what people got going on. I'm not interested in trying to figure out, are they looking at me? In my mind, I'm never going to see that person again in my life. In my mind, and this is the real talk, In my mind, I'm never going to see that person again in my life. Why would I care about what they thought? And if they felt like I was weird for recording, I see people in the comments, I don't know how you can do it, big dog. I don't know how you can't do it. I don't know why you living your life based off of other people's parameters. How do y'all live your life based off of what other people think that you don't even know? That is y'all weird to me. How do you have anxiety when it comes to public speaking? You mean anxiety when it comes to public speaking? I can't even see you in the audience. The only thing I see is the lights and the camera. I'm talking to myself. How do you feel some type of way? You know what I'm saying? When something is going on or this is happening or whatever, I live my life like an open book because I'm the Truman Show. All cameras is on me. I believe that God got a camera on me, and everybody in heaven is like, look at Anton, look at this crazy. Oh man, we got to go and save him from himself again. He about to crash out. I don't care what people think. People like, you know what I'm saying? People will watch my vlog and say, how you talking to that girl? Why you? Because I felt like talking to her at that particular moment. And she was giving motion and I had the motion and I was rocking and she decided to get on the boat. And so, hey, come on back to the studio and let's have a good time. I don't care. I live life by the seat of my pants. I do what I want to do. And because I'm so transparent and because I'm so forthcoming with who it is that I am, and because I'm so confident in what I do, everybody my girl follows me. She ain't thinking about, do you think that when Rita watches my vlogs that she's seeing anything other than what I'm doing every single day in front of her at all? Like, because you live in this cage, in this box that society has built for you, it limits your ability to truly become the person that you're supposed to be. And so you don't know who you are because you so worried about what everybody else is going to think about you. A lot of y'all don't know who you are. You don't know what you believe. You don't even have your own taste. Somebody told you that this is the way that you were supposed to taste and feel about something. And so that's the box that you've lived in your entire life. You've never sought God for your purpose. You do things completely based off of what society has put as a parameter. And I will tell you that the world is wrong about everything. All of these people, all of society, all of the culture, all of the people that are watching you because you the star. You're the star of your own movie. And if you don't start living it, if you don't really start to embrace who you are and what God has put you on this earth to be, but instead you trying to meet the expectations of this person and this person and this person. And I'm not telling you to don't be responsible and take care of your business and do what you're supposed to do. But what I am telling you is that you have to discover who you are. And if you don't, and the only thing you care about is what somebody put into you that was racist. So you think you got to vote a certain type of way and you can't explore nothing else and you can't go and talk to somebody else and you can't meet these people. And the only thing that you ever want to talk to is black people. Guess what? There are 9 billion people on this earth. You think that I'm going to limit myself to only one group of people that's not even a monolith and think that I'm supposed to get everything that I'm supposed to get out of life? Man, you crazy. You are crazy. I'm going to create that business. I'm going to go and visit that place. I'm going to pay off that debt. I'm going to become a tourist in my own city. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do picnics. You know what's so funny? The vlog that I'm doing today. Every day that I wake up, people jump into my vlog and they say, man, that's crazy, whatever. I don't know what restaurant I'm going to go to. I don't know if I'm going to cook breakfast or go to a restaurant. I don't know if I'm going to go out of town or if I'm going to go to a G League game. I don't know if I'm going to go to a regular Pistons game. If I look up on the calendar and I find out that my Pistons is in another city, I may fly over there to go and see them. I don't know. I don't care. Who knows? I may jump in the car, drive over to Pittsburgh. I may switch up the weather just because I feel like it. I may go and go to, I seen the RV people here on the other day at the conference. And I said, oh, I want to go and see some new RVs. I don't plan on buying no RVs. I woke up this morning and said, you know what? I'm thinking about might buy a motorcycle. Then I was talking to Rita and Rita said, Anton, no, I don't want you buying a motorcycle because it's not safe. I don't want anything to happen to you. We need you in this world. And I said, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll go and find a Mercury Marauder, or maybe I'll go and fly down south and find a Mercury Marauder. It's a better down there because they don't have no salt and snow. And then maybe I'll create a vlog about it and ship them up here. I don't know. I just do whatever it is because it's too much life to be lived. Maybe I'll go and explore General Motors headquarters. Maybe I'll go and call a realtor and take a tour of a house that I've never seen before, or a property or a condo or a building that I've never seen before. Or maybe I'll go and see some art at the DIA or the museum, or go over to Canada. Hey, Canada's over there. Wherever my eyes peak, that's where my territory is. Whatever it is that I see that's good, that's what I create a business around. Whoever it is that I see got good energy, that's the person that I'm going to talk to and exchange information and phone numbers with. Just so happen to be a pretty girl that got good energy. So I don't think the same way that you do. You so busy trying to fit into the world, and I'm so busy molding the world according to how I see it. I mold the world according to how I see it. Y'all got to get out. Y'all got to get out of your comfort zone and do things. Do it. Take care of your responsibilities. Work really, 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 really hard, and then party really, really hard. Dance like nobody is looking. Create the business that nobody created. Start small, grow it big. Find the people that you want to go and party with and have a good time. Good time. See this? The son said, dang, I walk in and Anton is going off on y'all already. This is what you call going off on somebody, by telling them that they need to get out of their comfort zone and do fun stuff and experience life and go and create businesses and work really hard. That's what you consider going off on somebody? Weird. Weirdos. Every day, I just think that y'all become weirder and weirder. There's a segment of y'all that jump in and you subscribe to the channel and you watch every day, and you just weird to me. You a weirdo. Y'all are weirdos. Dang, he going off on y'all for just being complacent. No, I'm trying to encourage you. You a weirdo. You weird. Weird, bro. It's almost like y'all never, ever had a man in your life to actually try to motivate you or tell you that you better than your sister. You not your sister. You ain't your sister, fam. You don't have to play with Barbie dolls. You don't have to dress up in makeup just because the girlies is online and they doing their TikToks where they putting their makeup on while telling their story time. You don't have to do that too. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to dress in your sister's clothes. You don't have to be gay. You don't have to be bisexual, which is gay. You don't have to try to fit in. You can go and do the things that the boys was doing. You can get in your masculine and you can embrace masculinity. It's okay. And anytime somebody tell you it's toxic, it's not. You can go and turn around and look at that girl. You can go and talk to girls. I guarantee they're not going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? The girlies ain't going to hurt you. It's okay to like women without touching them. You don't have to put your hands on them. You can find a middle road. Oh, you beautiful, and keep walking. You can give a girl a compliment and keep walking. If she not giving you no motion, if she don't give you a signal and say, oh my God, you know what? Thank you. What's your name? Then it's okay to keep walking. It's okay. It's okay. You can compliment people. You can tell other guys, hey fam, I like your hookup, bro. That's dope. Where you get that from? Oh man, I'm gonna have to check that out. I seen another content creator the other day, and then we're going to get into the show. I'm going to read the super chats, the cash apps, and we're going to get into the show. I was driving down the street, and it's this guy that I always see, and he create content around Detroit. Like he go and visit restaurants or whatever. And I seen him setting up, and he was in front of one mic because Mike Epps actually got a comedy club here in Detroit that he opened up over the last year. And I seen him outside, and I was driving by, and I stopped, and I backed up, and I pulled over, and I said, hey, fam, I love what you doing, bro. Bro, you got a dope thing. He was like, wait a minute, are you Anton? I said, yeah, I'm Anton. He was like, oh man, we're going to have to link up and connect. But I wasn't looking to stop in order for him to recognize me. I was giving him props. Man, I love what you do, bro. I follow your stuff. I'm a secret watcher, man, but I go to all of the restaurants that you review and stuff. Man, dog, let me know if it's anything that I can do to push you and promote you or whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's okay to show love to people. It's okay to not hope, not to, you know what I'm saying, not to be a hater. It's okay to not be a hater. You know what I'm saying? You can be a person that exalt other people. He's not even in the same lane as me. Why am I not going to show him love? He doing his own thing. He getting his money, he getting his visibility. We wound up chopping it up for like 5 minutes. He was telling me a story like, man, I came from the Facebook days and all of this other stuff. And I learned some stuff from him. Sometimes those are the people that you wind up learning from. It's okay to not be a hater. You ain't got to be a hater, fam. Anyways, hopefully that's just a little bit of motivation for y'all. Shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. I appreciate you on Cash App. Hey, Spencer Campbell, you my dog. You becoming just as consistent as my dog, Mike, that dude. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. He said, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. Marquita Davis, what up, Keita? Says, I know it's going to be a wonderful show. You know it. You know it. What up, Keita? I appreciate you for tapping in. Let me also say, Gemini P, good morning, Anton. I sent you a message to your direct email yesterday about my mobile app concept and pitch. Okay, shout out to Gemini P. It's my birthday, 390Q. Happy birthday, big dog. Congratulations. Welcome to another day, the Big 28. Abundance Mindset says, hey, Anton, what up, though? All caps and big eyes is crazy. Tito is the #1 selling vodka in the world. It's a really good vodka. Abundance Mindset says, small batch, 1792. You will thank me later. Get the full proof. Maybe I'll have to show y'all some of the liquor that I got over there. It'll be a party here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to check that out. 1792. All right. You got plans you have in St. Louis? I'll come to St. Louis. Whenever the weather is good, I'll fly over to St. Louis and see what's happening. 80, Next Stock Club. Could you please give your take on IPO? I recently invested in an IPO and it's now almost 200% market value. I'm not sure to sell or hold on to it. I need some insights. All right. I'll talk about IPOs in the Next Stock Club. I think that you should take some of your profits out, take some of your profits, lock in the profits, but don't take all of it. Even if you take 50 to 60%, 50 to 65% of whatever it is, go all. You can go even if you're a little sketchy about it, then you can go all the way up to 75%. However, the details of that is, or the caveat to that is, you have to. I don't know the company. Right? I don't know the company's financials. I don't know what they prospecting. I don't know what kind of industry they in. You know the 8 things that we look for when we look to invest in a company, right? So I'd have to understand what that. But I always tell people, when Nvidia jumped up, what did I do? I locked in profits and I continued to dollar cost average, right? When Tesla jumped out, I locked in all of my profits and then we got out and then we took a large chunk of it and we did some more riskier investments like Rivian. And then we did some other investments where we continue to invest in dollar cost average into our big 7, right? Our Magnificent 7, the one that we put together ourselves. We spent more time investing in some of the things that's a little bit more stable. What did I tell y'all to invest in? That's absolutely killing it in the market right now. Trash, right? Trash. Waste Management. I'm not going to tell y'all the other company that I actually have more capital in, but Trash, one of the safest investments, and we're not affected by what's going on in the stock market right now. We're actually up. When everybody else is down, we up, right? So lock in profits, continue to dollar cost average, move it over into things that's a little bit more stable while at the same time managing your risk levels. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in Stock Club. We'll get into it. I don't want to, have that conversation here. Y'all want to make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. If y'all want to lock in a Stock Club, we break down how we look at the charts, how we look at the market, everything like that. All right. Shout out to everybody that's up right now. Nvidia pay for your apartment. Nvidia pay for my 911. Pay for my 911, locked in profits, and we continue to run it up. All right, let me look at a few more. What's up, Anton in the chat? What up, Showcase Classics? Man, I was in there doing some damage in the place where you work at. Chase Barnes says, happy Friday, Eddie and peeps. I was watching After Hours last night, and Eddie was like, hey, that's my chick. Ain't the one to play with. I understood what him and Molly was talking about. Tapping After Hours. Rebecca says, speaking into existence. What up, Rebecca? Double Jeopardy says, 80, the vlog channel is wild. Great content, especially the bus stop scene. And what do you know about that 1986 Buick Regal? I love that car. That was my first car that I bought. First car that I bought was a 1986 Buick Regal. I told you that they was weird. That's why the grown man asking you to slap your thighs. I need to become a bag chaser. I work corporate, cosmetic retail, and L'Oreal has just eliminated All of the field position is 6 companies. Yep. Mr. Lot in the building says, always giving out the game. Success leaves clues. Shout out to my girl Molly. Y'all can see her tonight on After Hours. You talking about Chime Time AD and the food reviews? Nope, I'm not talking about Chime Time. Person I'm talking about is actually here from Detroit, I believe. I don't know if Chime Time is from Detroit. You're my motivation, or you my motivation, Nahum. Thank you for rocking out with me. Slimmy says it's Friday. Get that money and let's go home and enjoy this weekend. After Hours tonight. I might go down to Cleveland and go skating this weekend. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, Slimmy. I don't know what I'm going to do, Slimmy. You know, Cleveland ain't nothing but a hop, skip, and a jump. Now, you know I'm not driving, right? I will take that 40-minute flight, that 35-minute flight without even thinking about it. Woo! I might come down to Cleveland and go skating. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, y'all. So before we get into the Tesla Arsonists, before we get into Elon Musk, a rumor, according to the New York Times, Elon Musk is being briefed on a possible war with China, AOC becoming the leader of the Democratic Party, the Department of Education, exactly what's going to happen and how they're shrinking the Department of Education. The first thing that I want to talk about is a guy named Yella Beezy. You ever heard of him? Don't matter if you heard of him. You ever heard of this guy called Mo3? Okay, well, I'm sure that a lot of you haven't. However, I want to bring you up to speed on why this is relevant to what we are talking about. Yesterday, I shared some information about a guy named Big U. And this Big U guy was actually arrested, and he is facing charges and has already been to court. And the reason that I felt like that was relevant to share is because I was trying to encourage people and give you some insight on why it's important for us to divest ourselves against these trash cultures or the things that we celebrate the most in culture that is not conducive for our lives. Not conducive for our lives. So this guy, whose name was Yella Beezy, and, you know, relatively successful as far as rappers are concerned, has some visibility, has some chains, has some motion, has some movement. Down there in Texas, y'all some wild boys. But apparently this guy hired somebody else to kill one of his rap rivals in broad daylight down in Dallas. Now, we also familiar with another Dallas rapper that's recently got killed. Not even a Dallas rapper, but, you know, a Dallas guy. His name was Lil Ronnie. We know his 5-year-old daughter was the one that wound up getting killed when his challenger got shot up by a lot of his ops. And those 2 guys got arrested. So we have this cycle of violence that's basically being perpetuated inside of our communities. And I think we need to bring it to the front of the congregation. So without further ado, I'm going to share this story with you in hopes that we then let go of the dustiness and then we go ahead and do the thing that's conducive for our families and our communities. Check this out.
And we have 2 breaking news stories tonight, starting with an update on a rapper gunned down on a highway 5 years ago. Dallas police now say Yella Beezy hired a hitman to kill his one-time friend turned rival, Mo3. Cole Sullivan is live at the county jail. These are well-known rappers in the Dallas hip-hop scene.
Chris, Yella Beezy's top single, It Put It On Me, it peaked at 56 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now he's in the Dallas County Justice Complex behind me on a capital murder charge, accused of hiring a hitman to kill a fellow rapper. This all happened back in 2020. And just before noon, on the middle of Interstate 35, just south of the Dallas Zoo, Dallas police arrested a 22-year-old and charged him with murder. Initially, that 22-year-old's in federal prison, convicted of gun charges. But now, 5 years later, they say he was the trigger man. Police say Yella Beezy, whose top song That's On Me, hired that 22-year-old and promised him cash for killing Mo3. A grand jury handed up an indictment this week and booked Marquise Conway tonight. The killing of Melvin Noble, known as Mo3, led to an outpouring of grief from his fans. Dozens held a memorial outside Dallas City Hall that week. He once was friends with the man now accused of hiring someone to murder him. The killing has long been suspected to be the result of a rap feud. We reached out to Yella Beezy's legal team tonight and have not heard back. We're waiting to hear back on a bond amount for him as well. We'll bring you updates tomorrow on Daybreak. Chris.
So let me share with you the details, and I'm going to also share with you why it's important for us to have this conversation, okay? So here's the details. Check it out. Check it out. So he's charged with capital murder. Capital murder for hiring a 21, 22-year-old who threw his life away to go and murder this dude in broad daylight. And these dudes have no regard for human life. One of the reasons why I often say that it's important for you to stay out of the streets with these young boys, because they have no regard for you whatsoever, and they will take you out for $13 because you got an op. And here's the worst part about it. The dude actually admitted to sleeping on his couch at one point in his life. According to the New York Post, he's been charged with capital murder for allegedly orchestrating the 2020 killing of his fellow rapper that's also in his own city. This is another reason why I choose not to interview or do a lot of business with a lot of people that are in the city, because as far as the content creation is concerned, because I don't know who hates who. I don't know who's beefing out with who. I don't want to be caught up in the middle of local politics, which we've actually been doing really, really well in the city of Detroit. But I don't want to deal with local politics just because I got some visibility. I just want to chill and have a good time. He was taken into custody Thursday, allegedly hiring a hitman to carry out the murder. And it ain't even no hitman. It's a young boy that's willing to crash out over $13,000. Accused of hiring Kevin Dontrell White to shoot and kill Noble while he was in his car on a Texas interstate. This is the dude that was a hitman. See, he got his teardrop on his left eye, the tattoos on his face, the weed lips, the nappy hair with the black hoodie. That's it right there. Shot several times in the back while trying to flee the masked gunman. White was arrested again last month and is already serving a 9-year sentence for firearm charges related to the shooting. Conway, known for his breakout trap hit That's On Me, was formally indicted on Tuesday by a Dallas grand jury. Court documents show this is the dude. Look, pants hanging, probably got on the Nikos, got on the mask, the Pooh Shiesty mask, and the all black, and can't wait to run at you with the drum. Crazy. Says he's been charged with capital murder and his bond has not been set yet, and he has been held in a Dallas County jail. And this is the guy that they wound up killing. Listen, man. Listen. Stay out of these streets. These streets don't love you. I know that y'all want to be cool. I seen somebody that stopped in my comments earlier today on my Anton Daniels channel. He said, "What does Anton never knew about the streets?" I don't want to know about the streets. I'm not interested in the streets. I grew up in a neighborhood where I seen raid vans and too many people lose their lives, and too many people that I grew up with is no longer here, or they're in prison, or they got ops looking for them to this day. I don't want to have to move to another city because I got into it with somebody else. I don't want to be riding around looking over my shoulder because I got my daughter in the car with me. I don't want to live that life that y'all living. I'm straight. When did we want to start becoming accepted by people that were at the lowest of the low and at the bottom of the totem pole? Y'all don't like girls? Y'all don't like chilling with women that like to show love and give it up and give motion and all of that stuff? Y'all 100% on this. This is all you know. All you know is recklessness and craziness, and you just want to crash out for your whole life. You ain't never thought to yourself, like, you know what? I actually like women, and I don't want to be in a position or a situation where I can't have women because I'm stuck incarcerated and I won't be able to move anymore. And I can't do what I want to do when I want to do it. Don't you like women? Don't you like girls that actually hold you down, that's interested in you? Don't you like not having to be locked up with a bunch of guys that's you know what I'm saying, showing you their commissary and all of that? Y'all not interested in freedom? You don't like being able to get up and do what you want to do when you want to do it. You want to be locked up. You want to be in prison. You want to be the tough guy. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be the tough guy? When did that ever become cool to get in prison? You know, I remember I was having a conversation. People was like, yeah, man, you don't know nothing about this prison life because when you on the yard, you know, it was dudes that was telling me that I would never survive in prison. They were telling me that I would never survive in prison. Or they were saying that I don't know prison politics. I wouldn't be able to. Well, listen. I do you one better. I do you a deal. How about I never go to prison? Ta-da! How about I'm not interested in learning prison politics? How about I like my you know what I'm saying, my freedom. I like being able to get up and go and visit my daughter. I don't want to have to worry about another dude busting down my chick or she in survival mode, so she got to give it up for a real one. I don't want a teardrop on my eye. I'm not interested in taking other people's lives. I like my life. I like my life. You don't like your life? This dude had everything. He was out here. He had his little hit singles. It peaked on the charts and stuff. And now he facing capital murder. He never coming home. He's never coming home ever. And then you got the 22-year-old that got rearrested. He's still in Dallas. Guess what? He's never coming home. He's never coming home ever. For the rest of his life, he gone. He gone. So just wanted to share that with y'all. Somebody said, Anton, they would have your nuts. I'm guessing that's because you know that they already had your nuts. Maybe they was tickling your balls. Maybe they took your boy Badussi. Did they take your Badussi? Did somebody play with your booty follicles? Like, why? When did that become kosher and cool for y'all to talk about what another man's balls would be doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean, Anton, they would be doing this? What? Why is that in your mind? Why are you thinking like that? What's wrong with you? Did they take your Badussi? Did they? Y'all done watched too many prison movies. I ain't cursing. I'm chilling. Talking about pause AD. No, pause to the person that said that to me. I'm addressing what was said to me. Y'all need to go and watch the Fleece Johnson interview because Fleece warned y'all. It was a cautionary tale to let you know what was waiting on you if you decided that you wanted to be a real one. It's a cautionary tale. I wanted him to describe in detail what he went through and what he put other people through so that you hopefully can get your black scared straight card and don't find yourself giving up your Badussi willingly or unwillingly. Dummies. Jock says, happy Friday. AD, keep doing God's work. If I kept one person out of prison because they listened to that and they said, you know what, I'm going to put this gun down. Job well done. Yo, come down to Cleveland, AD. Would love to meet you, my man. Can't skate, but why not meet the guy giving out so much game? Shout out to Brian Wilson. Streets getting cleaned up quick under this administration, ain't he? Locking everybody up. He found a young bull to crash out and don't care nothing about him. AC Reviews the World says, what up, AD? I just became a licensed professional geotechnical engineer in my state. Bag chasers, we up. Shout out to you. I love it. I wish I had the sound effects here. How are we such tough guys around other black folks, but we be up and play victim for racism and white supremacy and be begging for a job? The streets need to be cleansed. They think life is the movie Lockdown. Ooh, that's a horrible movie too. Fleece said they like them yellow boys in Parson. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's move on to the next part of the show. All right, without further ado. I told you, I warned you, I said that this was going to happen. I played it exactly how I was going to play it. I said, look, for all of y'all that is messing around. You letting these people and these liberals put a battery in your back. You letting them go into your comments. You getting excited about it. You got the dopamine hit because you think you're going to get some visibility. And they are not messing around. Look, you know you done. You know how you know you done if you're not even caught yet? You know you're done when they say the president of the United States of America says and declares that they are going to find you, catch you, and charge you to the fullest extent of the law. Do you know that they slapping these people not just with arson charges, not just with destruction of property, not just with all of the different things that you know they slapping them with domestic terrorism charges? Azriel, it's worse than felonies. It's worse than felonies. Listen, they listen to CNN and MSNBC, Al. They listen to NBC, MSNBC. They let AOC put a battery in their back. They let Jasmine Crockett gas them up. They let Bernie Sanders talk about the oligarchy. And they charging them boys with domestic terrorism. They caught 3 people and they're charging them with domestic terrorism. Check it out.
The White House is vowing to crack down on the rising number of Tesla attacks at car dealerships across the country.
KTLA Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas. Teslas are being torched across the country. Dealerships shot up and set on fire. Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Let's figure out other ways of, dealing with it.
People are protesting Elon Musk's role within President Trump's White House, leading the Department of Government Efficiency's cuts to federal spending.
We think it's despicable what is happening to not just this American company, but also their innocent employees. And again, innocent Americans who drive these vehicles. We condemn it wholeheartedly.
Website DogeQuest is doxing alleged Tesla owners all over Los Angeles, Orange, and San Bernardino counties. Creators claim they will delete people's information once they prove they've sold their Tesla. Attorney General Pam Bondi called Tesla vandalism.
You know that people that created whatever that app or that website is, that they are going to find charges for them too, right? I know y'all think that just because you're behind a computer that you're safe. You don't really understand how the law works, do you? Once you're a target, once you're a person of interest, let me show you what happens to you once you become a person of interest. I know you don't believe that fat meat greasy. I know that you don't think that you stink, but let me show you what's going to happen once they find you.
That we are following for you this hour. And this has to do with these Tesla attacks that we have been seeing in recent weeks. We now are learning that Attorney General Pam Bondi has announced charges against 3 people in domestic terrorism attacks on Teslas. 3 people accused of destroying Tesla cars and charging stations are now facing up to 20 years in prison for domestic terrorism.
20. You know how long 20 years is? Do you know how long 20 years is? That's a long time, fam. Do you know how long 20 years is? That's 7,300 days in prison. Not 700, not 730 hours. Dog, I couldn't do 7,300 hours. That's 7,300 days in prison, and they are not offering plea deals, family. They got Pam Bondi on this. When the president of the United States of America said, we are coming for you, and we are going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law, they are trying to make sure that you die in prison. They are not messing around, bro. They not messing up. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Maybe you haven't caught the memo. When the president of the United States of America say, we gonna find you, we gonna catch you, and we gonna slap domestic terrorism charges on you, you need to just go back in your basement, go back in your mother's basement. You facing 20 years, and they not giving plea deals. They're not giving plea deals. And they got you on camera, and they got your fingerprints, and they got you on the Tesla Century Mode cameras. It's 9 cameras on every Tesla car. 9. You didn't think that they was going to be able to triangulate your position based off of where your cell phone was pinging from? You don't think that all of these cameras that's on all of these street lights and street poles, and you thought that was just nothing big deal? You know what? They're not going to catch me as long as I got a mask on. Boy, you facing, that's life. That's life to me.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced just moments ago. She said in a statement as well, the days of committing crimes without consequence have ended. Let this be a warning. If you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. And we've been seeing videos like this for the last couple of weeks. This video coming out of Las Vegas earlier this week as well. The defendants are accused of using high-powered weapons and explosives to destroy property from the Elon Musk-owned car company. One allegedly carried a suppressed AR-15 rifle while lobbying 8 Molotov cocktails at an Oregon Tesla dealership, while another is accused of trying to light Tesla cars on fire with these same explosives in Colorado. And again, this is just some of the aftermath of some other video from Las Vegas as well, showing explosions that were happening earlier in the week here. And you could see those cars that were caught up in the flames. We've also been seeing on social media where there is reports of Tesla cars being keyed and videos of that being put out as well. But again, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, putting this out there against.
They're not messing around with y'all. They're not messing around. They are trying to absolutely, listen, they want this to happen. They want you to do this. They are looking to make an example of people so that they can send you away, and then you can possibly ask for a pardon that they're going to deny 100 times out of 100. They are not messing around. I don't know how much more I can say.
Column called out the double standard with this headline: Democrats' silence is damning as leftist violence explodes. Another Donald Trump presidential term, another spate of violence going largely ignored or even smirked at by Democrats and their media friends. Much of this violence and abuse is being laughed off by people who would be weeping if the targets were their own political allies. All of that a quote. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, joins me in Focus now. Caroline, good to see you. I did some homework for this segment, and I want to start someplace that no one's talking about. What happens if there's someone in one of these cars they blow up? That can happen. That becomes murder, or worse, terrorism plus. And I know that on January 20th, the president signed into law, through an executive order, restoring the death penalty. Do you think this sort of thing, and I hate to think it, people leave their children and pets in cars. I mean, you don't know. This is deadly, dangerous stuff these liberal protesters are playing with.
Yes, it is, Harris. And what I can tell you is that President Trump condemns this violence, and he is determined to restore law and order in our country, and he will ensure that the harshest penalties are pursued for those who are engaging in this vicious violence that we have seen targeted at this American company, Tesla dealerships, Tesla employees, and also innocent Americans who have chosen to drive these vehicles. Many of them, ironically, are likely Democrats. If, as you so eloquently pointed out, there is a major double standard here. The Democrats used to be the greatest cheerleaders for electric vehicles and for Tesla, the company, until Elon Musk decided to support and vote for Donald Trump. So the Trump derangement syndrome from the left is on true display with these attacks. It is getting dangerous, and the White House wholeheartedly condemns it. And we applaud Attorney General Pam Bondi for investigating these acts as domestic terrorism, because that is what they are.
Well, and as I just pointed out, the president gave himself another tool if this really goes dark, much darker than it already has. Look, I want to talk about the politics of this, because on display right now, we find out just how fake some of the cause of liberals has been toward the green environment. I mean, you saw Mark Kelly down in Arizona, lawmaker saying he sold his Tesla and then went out and bought a gas-guzzling truck. Now, it should be everybody's choice to drive what they want. I know what I choose. But what he chose was to put on full display that it was fake when he said he cared about the environment. Politically, that's got to play for the president and for Republicans.
So wait a minute, y'all telling me that the climate hoax is real? Like, we don't really have any, because see, I was one of the people, I have to bring myself to the front of the congregation. I have to admit it. And I actually did a whole live stream where I allowed, I don't know if y'all remember, but I allowed you guys to come up here because I said that, you know what? There are some things that I don't necessarily align with the Republican Party about. And I don't think that, you know, I don't know how they don't understand that we need to be very mindful about how it is that we, you know, are impacting the environment and methane gas inside of the air and all of this stuff. And then you guys came up. You remember Zeroyce? You remember K-Sue? And then you guys came up and you said, Anton, and I allowed you guys to debate me and educate me. And I was open-minded and I wanted to know exactly what y'all thought. And so y'all came up here and y'all said, Anton, think about this, look at this, and look at this. And I have to show you that I really do appreciate you guys. And I do not look at you guys as fans. I look at you as friends. And that's why I say that, you know, the Chad is also my co-host of the show because you educate me and I like to interact with you guys. Are you guys telling me that these people are so hypocritical that they are not truly climate activists? They don't even believe in the thing that they advocating for, the Green New Deal and making sure, which was really, like Trump said, the Green New Scam. And we was just stealing money from taxpayers to divert it away from the things that actually was meaningful and fixing our economy and making sure that we pay down the national deficit and reducing taxes and increasing people's buying power. So are you telling me that because Elon Musk supported Trump, that all of a sudden it's back okay to buy ICE, internal combustion engine vehicles? Is that what you guys are telling me? Wow. Wow. So liberals ain't really liberal. They really just hate Trump, Elon Musk, and the United States of America and the values that we espouse. Got it.
It's very clear that the Democrat Party no longer stands for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, even if it means contradicting themselves. As I said, they were always the greatest cheerleaders for electric vehicles. And now I guess they're okay with violence being taken against the greatest electric vehicle company in our country. If you look at the reason for DOGE and the work that Elon Musk is doing here at the White House to get rid of government waste, fraud, and abuse, which the vast majority of Americans support, Democrats also supported that. Roll the tape of President Obama, President Clinton, Hillary Clinton herself, and even the previous president, Joe Biden, who all talked at some point in their careers about reducing government waste. None of them actually did it, but President Trump and Elon Musk are. And this is what the Democrats are so upset about. This is something their party used to support before they were completely captivated by the far radical left. And it's why today the modern day Democrat Party is facing some of their lowest approval ratings in history, because they have no priorities or no agenda to actually help people. All they want to do is hurt Donald Trump.
All right, let's talk about those on the far left. Liberal late night comedy shows apparently think all of this is funny.
That's enough. That's enough. We don't need to get into the liberal late night comedy shows and who's saying what or whatever. The point of this part of the show was just to have a conversation with you guys and to show you that don't let anybody indoctrinate you and put a battery in your back to where you're now facing 20 years in prison, 20 years in prison, because you decided to go and put your hands on something in somebody else's vehicle that is not yours. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't put your hands on nobody. Don't put your hands on nobody else's vehicle. We support your right to protest. We also support your ability to be able to buy whatever vehicle that you want. That's the thing that Republicans and conservatives advocated for. We want choices. We support electric vehicles. We also support internal combustion engine vehicles. And we want to buy what we want to buy, but keep your hands to your mother effing self and stop trying to put your hands on other people's properties. It is that simple. It cannot be any more simple. Say to yourself, stay in your mama's basement and keep on doing what you're going to do. Hey, they didn't even go and buy another electric vehicle from another company. They decided to go a pickup truck that they really wanted to buy in the first place. Stupid. Dumb as hell. Anyways, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and then we'll move over to the next portion of the show. Mary Martin says, Alex Haley, find a good and praise it. Shout out to you. Service USA LLC says, the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, was also doxxed on that website. Imagine the stupidity of the people that did that. And they think that just because they got a VPN, they're not going to get caught. We'll see. Rashonda Blackwell says, if you know you're going down and you know folks doing that, don't do all that time by yourself. Start singing like Mariah. Hey, have y'all seen the recent concert footage of Mariah Carey? Eric Wolf Harris says, no parole, absolutely no pardon. 20 years, book them and throw away the key. BG Tech Life says, MAGA extremists who don't like Musk doing this. Trump hurt their feelings. Rebecca Lynn says it's a lie. 13,000-year cycle that is predicated or predicted and unknown. Yeah, climate change is interesting. It's an interesting conversation. Keith Murphy says electronic vehicle sales have went up worldwide. People are just not buying Tesla. That's actually not true. The Model Y is the #1 selling vehicle in the world. Y'all got it. Listen. Y'all have to do y'all research. You have to do your research. Let me bring it up. Let me bring you up to speed because I know that you don't want to realize it yourself. You don't want to actually do your own research. For whatever reason, you've been indoctrinated by liberals, and so you feel compelled to just say anything, and it's right at your fingertips. In 2023, the Tesla Model Y became the world's best-selling car, surpassing both the Toyota Corolla and traditional high-volume vehicle sales, with 1.22 million vehicles sold globally. And they have not relinquished that spot. They have not relinquished that spot. And it does more of a breakdown. It says that Tesla Model Y achieved the top spot in global sales, becoming the first pure electric vehicle to lead the market. It got record-breaking sales, sold 1.22 million vehicles worldwide in 2023, a 64% increase that year. And they outsold the traditional F-Series and the Toyota RAV4 and the Corolla. All right? So I need you to do your research before you feel compelled and start to understand exactly what's going on, okay? Just because y'all protesting in Canada, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't want to continue down this path. It's interesting. It's interesting that you guys feel compelled to say some of the stuff you say. But I appreciate you for the super chat. I always want you to super chat and make sure you participate. Brian Wilson says some kind of explosives in 2 different states. Seems like it's a group behind this setting all this Tesla stuff up. Well, hopefully they can pay for their defense. Good day, Anton in chat. Yes, the hypocrisy is ridiculous. Hold this L. Kid Chameleon says Dems equal bitter baby mamas, Repubs equal an involved father. Have you seen the story where a guy in Seattle purchased a Tesla just to destroy it? Support Elon Musk, protest Elon, crazy. Bought more Tesla stock yesterday. I like that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what else that we got on the docket. Oh, okay, so I have to address this story, and I got to look at it from all angles. The New York Times published an article that basically said that Elon Musk is being briefed on what a potential war with China would look like. I know he is expected to visit the Pentagon Doge is going through with a fine-tooth comb and is about to start moving towards the Department of Defense. But this is the story that's being read. This is what's being proposed. And so I would not be doing my duty. I would not be doing the right thing as far as having a conversation if I did not make sure that I shared this with you guys and have this conversation. So this is what's being reported from the news outlets, mainly the liberal left. This is what's being reported from the news outlets. Let me share it with you. Check it out.
The latest now on Elon Musk's expanding role in the Trump administration. The New York Times reported yesterday that he was set to visit the Pentagon to get a briefing on Chinese war plans. That may have been reversed at this point, but he is still going to the Pentagon. I want to get all the details from Martha Raddatz, Chief Global Affairs Anchor. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. The New York Times had reported late last night that Elon Musk would be briefed at the Pentagon today on top secret plans for any potential war with China, which would be an extraordinary expansion beyond the Doge responsibilities, given his business connections to China and the fact that those are very closely held secrets. But overnight, a fury of denials from the Trump administration, the president claiming the story is completely untrue, and Elon Musk calling the story pure propaganda, saying leakers will be prosecuted. But what is true is that Elon Musk will be at the Pentagon today. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth denying the meeting will be about China war plans. Instead, Hegseth saying it will be an informal meeting about innovation and efficiencies. Although last night, an official did tell ABC News that China would at least be mentioned in this meeting, and the meeting would be with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It is unclear whether that is true anymore, Rebecca, but we do know Hegseth will be at the White House. Rebecca.
So they are saying that Elon Musk will be briefed. Okay. They are saying that Elon Musk will be briefed on what a potential war with China looks like. Okay. Fox News also wanted to address this, and they shared their perspective and what they think is going to happen. And obviously, you know that there's been press conferences and things like that. So let me share it with you from both sides so that you can get it from both sides to understand exactly what's going on. This is Fox News coverage of it.
Memo directing the termination of over $580 million in DoD contracts and grants that do not match the priorities of this president or this department. In other words, they are not a good use of taxpayer dollars, as DoD partners with Doge here to make sure that our warfighters have what they need by cutting the waste, fraud, and abuse.
So the Defense Department embracing Doge as Elon Musk prepares to visit the Pentagon today. And in just a few hours, Hegseth and the President Trump are expected to deliver remarks at the White House. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell joins us now. Sean, good morning. Congratulations on the new role.
Thanks, Lawrence. Good morning from the Pentagon.
So, Sean, you guys have already identified, you and the Secretary of Defense, $580 million of waste, fraud, and abuse contracts. Doge is going to be there today with Elon Musk. Do you expect more cuts?
Well, so yeah, $800 million plus that we've saved here at the Department of Defense. And really, I mean, the charge for us was very clear, set forth from this president in his historic mandate in November, and Secretary Hegseth's vision is to look for ways to find wasteful spending in the Pentagon and look for additional creative ways to reinvest in our warfighters. That's exactly what we're doing. And Doge is really helping us to do that. We welcome them here. And you gotta think, Lawrence, every dollar that we save here in a wasteful spending program is a dollar that we could reinvest in the warfighters. And Elon Musk is coming today for a Pentagon visit. Super excited about that, Lawrence, because Elon Musk is a patriot. He's smart. Right. He's a great businessman. He's an innovator. We look forward to the ideas that he's bringing to us here today.
So, Sean, I've been talking with my sources, and there's several reports circulating about Elon getting classified information, operation stuff. They tell me that's not true. Can you say that on record that none of that is?
I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to switch over to Trump Live right now, okay?
Companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I would say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here. They're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs where they make it impossible for the cars to get in even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called a non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars. They send us big agriculture. They don't want our agriculture. They don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough. But now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Russia continues to attack Ukraine. Are you planning to impose any sort of sanctions?
Well, they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. You had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers, and they are going to be, I believe we're going to pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, et cetera. It's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years, ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? They're not babies. They're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax. All a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad. What he's done to this country, what he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart. He was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country. That's an inexcusable act. And many other things besides that. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
So that is Trump, and he. I'm assuming that he also in his live talked about Elon Musk and everything like that. So let's go ahead and see if we can rewind it and see if we can find any of that.
A lot of those results, if you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, and it's been received very well. Sixth generation, close to it from speed over 2, which is something that the size of the plane, good sized plane. This contract also represents a historic investment in our defense industrial base, helping to keep America at the cutting edge of aerospace and technology. Our allies are calling constantly. They want to buy them also, and certain allies will be selling them, perhaps toned down versions. We like to tone them down about 10%, which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job. He's really really been very inspiring in so many ways. And I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it, and they love him. But we've had record numbers of people wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back 6 months, it was the exact opposite. You had record numbers of people not wanting to join the military. Now you have record numbers of people wanting to be in our military. And that's a great honor. That shows you we're really on the right track. So Pete, maybe say a few words.
Sure.
Please.
Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country, a big day in the world. The name of this program is the Next Generation of Air Dominance. And Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have generations in the future of air dominance because of this 6th generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we have had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to.
F-47, obviously signifying that Trump is the 47th president of the United States of America. 45, 47. This dude knows how to brand, don't he?
To project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift to my kids and your kids, to my grandkids and your grandkids. This is a historic investment in the American military, in the American industrial base, in American industry that will help revive the warrior ethos inside our military, which we're doing, rebuild our military, which the previous administration did not do, by the way, Mr. President. They paused this program and were prepared to potentially scrap it. We know this is cheaper, longer range, and more stealthy. President Trump said we're reviving it and we're doing it. And then we are also going to reestablish deterrence. Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you for it.
So that is basically what's happening inside of the Trump White House. They're saying that nobody is talking about a potential war with China, that Elon Musk is going to visit the White House. And frankly, to be honest with you, me personally, I would want all of the brightest minds that we could muster. And why wouldn't you have Elon Musk with the level of mindset and the technology and the ability also, obviously along with Doge, to make sure that we eliminate the costs that's associated with some of the stuff that we have going on in the Department of Defense. And even though Doge hasn't gotten to the Department of Defense yet, what he is doing is and this is smart, that the Department of Defense is working with Elon Musk, not only from a technological perspective, but also to proactively find savings in the Department of Defense so we can reinvest into our own military, which obviously is one of the reasons why we're so successful as a country and we one of the most powerful nations in the world. We are the most powerful nation in the world. So great branding, 47 from President 47. Let's continue on with the show. I want to make sure that I read some of these super chats and then we'll continue on with the show. All right. Let's see what we got. Keith Murphy says 2023, 2 years ago. Okay, so listen, Keith. Listen. I want you to actually understand something. This is how it works in finance. And I know that you always disagree with everything, but this is how it works in finance. Fiscal year 24 just ended. So we have to make sure that we get all of the data, all of the numbers. Obviously, we can't speak to 2025 because we're not even a quarter in to 2025 yet. So when we then report final earnings from all of your major companies, which include technological companies, which include all of the automakers, then you can then say, okay, combined, this is what's happening worldwide with all of the automakers. So the most recent data that we have is from a full year in 2023. Oh, so that means that you're just talking. Okay, Pumpkin. All right, like your car said for the people in the back. All right, Keith. But thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. FaceFact says they are panicking that Trump and Elon will change family court laws, being they both had issues with it. Most of the fraud money comes from Title, 6D? U.S. weak. We out of NATO, almost. And now they're going to weaken the military. China having a field day. Where did you hear that from? You didn't just hear Trump announce that they're actually investing and reinvesting into the military? Being in NATO just meant that we spent the most money to subsidize other countries and to make sure that we're protecting them. It has nothing to do with us investing in our own personal military. Okay, all right. Elizabeth Williams says, good morning, AD. How do you feel about Trump ending the whole desegregation thing as a part of DEI? I did a whole segment on it yesterday at the end of the show. I addressed it. You should go and check that out. I'm definitely going to clip it up. It'll probably come out like Sunday, something like that. Frank Whitaker says, and it's not desegregation, is language that's attached to the diversity, equity, and inclusion that he abolished when he first signed his executive orders. Frank Whitaker says, what people have to understand is that Doge has read-only access to the books and has not been given clearance to change or export any info. Solution Trucking Channel says this is exactly what we did with Albert Einstein to create the atomic bomb. I see no problem with this at all. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's continue on. So, Department of Education. We know that yesterday Trump signed an executive order to focus on making sure that he abolished and gotten rid of the Department of Education as we know it. Meaning that we have to make sure that we're allocating all of our resources to the right things, and we cannot be spending money on this trash ass education that we've been dealing with. Pardon my language, but I just got to be frank on Friday. With these trash education that we've been giving our kids and the money that's being stolen via the Department of Education. So Caroline actually took questions on the Department of Education plans and what that would look like in the future. Check it out.
On live down from Vox.
Our nation's failing test scores for the last several decades. The Department of Education was founded in the 1970s, and since then we have spent more than $3 trillion at this federal bureaucracy. What has been the return on that investment for the American taxpayer? Levels that are less than ideal, less than proficient. Our children's test scores are incredibly concerning when it comes to reading rates, literacy rates, math, and science test scores. The numbers prove that, and this president is finally taking much needed action to return education to where it belongs, and that's to educators closest to students in their classrooms in their respective states. We're going to have a great event here later at 4 o'clock. There will be students here, teachers here, parents here, educators, and of course governors from around the country who are very excited about taking on this responsibility to educate our nation's students.
Who's going to run federal student loans?
So the Department of Education will be much smaller than it is today. As you know, the president's executive order directed Linda McMahon to greatly minimize the agency. So when it comes to student loans and Pell Grants, those will still be run out of the Department of Education, but we don't need to be spending more than $3 trillion over the course of a few decades on a department that's clearly failing in its initial intention to educate our students.
So is the federal government going to be spending less?
Much smaller than it is. Is it not going to be shut down completely? And then I have a second question.
As I said, Pell Grants and student loans will still be run out of the department in Washington, D.C., but the great responsibility of educating our nation's students will return to the states.
And the Department of Education.
So essentially what he said, which we talked about yesterday, was that the states will be given more power to basically govern over the resources that's distributed from the federal government and less oversight so that you guys, the voters, can determine and have more power about what goes on in your individual state based off of your individual results. I'm not really sure why this is an issue. I don't know why people are complaining about it, but it sounds like a really, really good thing to me. It sounds like a phenomenal thing. And this is on a grade school level, elementary school, middle school, high school. You're basically going to have more power within your states to hold your governor and your legislators in your states accountable so that you guys can determine where these funds go. And if the people that are in charge are doing what they're supposed to do, and it's no longer going to fall on the shoulders of the federal government. We're removing the bureaucracy. What's the problem with that? Now, let me tell you what I would like to see over a period of time. I believe that we need to prioritize the curriculums that are the most meaningful in the United States of America when it comes to Pell Grants and student loans. I think it should be based off of your grades, what you qualify for. It should also be based off of what curriculum you are choosing and what path you are going forward in as far as what you're studying to get your degree in. I don't think that it should just be blanket. And I know that this is more comprehensive language that probably could and should be emphasized and dealt with in the future. Right now, we just got to deal with funding. We got to deal with all of the bureaucratic nonsense. We got to find where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. And then we need to go and deep dive into it. But if you're going to tell me that we need to continue to fund student loans at the same rate when it comes to you getting a basket weaving degree, liberal arts, dance, arts, culture, African-American studies, all of this nonsense, I think that some of these programs, you should not be able to get funded from student loans and Pell Grants. I do not believe that you should. If you want to go in there and you want to do that, then you should be able to pay for it yourself. We should make sure that we spend more of our federal dollars on things that we know people can and will pay back. If you get a degree in a STEM field, you are much more likely to be able to pay back your student loans and contribute into the society and be able to fill the jobs of the future. If not, I think that you should have to pay for it on your own if that's what you want to do. What that will do is keep people from running in the Victim Olympics, make sure that they're not sitting here complaining about student loans and voting based off of taking out a whole bunch of student loans for things that they shouldn't be doing. And we will be building a workforce that's similar to the workforce across the globe where people are incentivized to go into specific fields of study where you can make a lot of money, and you will make sure that you are doing the thing that's the best for society. I don't think that we should be funding student loans for everything and everybody. People act like they're stupid. They act like they don't know that student loans, you're going to have to pay them back. They get mad at the federal government because now they're requiring for you to pay your student loan back at the rates that you signed up for them. And they say, oh my God, we got to do something about it. I've seen some people that say that they ain't never paying their student loans. I've seen some people that said that they're going to be lifetime students so that they never have to get a student loan bill. How stupid and irresponsible. How stupid and irresponsible. But let's continue to hear what she has to say.
Education plays a critical role in enforcing civil rights laws that prohibit discrimination. Who's going to do that now?
Any critical functions of the department, such as that, will remain. But again, we're greatly reducing the scale and the size of this department.
What about federal Title I funding and special education funding? Is that still good?
Same answer. Yes.
North Carolina, on the Federal Reserve, the president criticized the rate decision yesterday. Is he looking to replace members of the Federal Reserve Board like he did on the Federal Trade Commission?
Well, the president has appointed Mickey Bowman, as you know, to be the vice chair of the Federal Reserve. We're incredibly optimistic about her. She's on the ball, as the president says, and knows how to get things done. The president has every right to criticize the decision, and he's made it very clear that he believes in lower interest rates are going to help this country boom. And this administration is working on lowering the rate of inflation caused by the previous administration every day. Inflation is cooling. The numbers indicate that. And the president strongly believes in low interest rates. And I think the American public do too.
Caroline, on the deportation flights, Caroline, you've said that you're confident that you've complied with the judge's order.
We are.
Case, then why not turn over the information about the flights?
We are 100% confident that we've complied. And as I said from the podium, and will continue to say, all of the flights that were subject to the written order of the judge took off before the written order was pushed in the courtroom. And the president is well within his Article 2 power and his authority under the Alien Enemies Act to make these decisions. And we think it's egregious that a single district judge is trying to tell the president of the United States who he can and cannot deport from our soil, especially when it comes to designated foreign terrorists.
Hey, Dunn, why would you say cat inflation is about to get hyper when we're actually lowering the cost of living? And I don't see anybody complaining about the price of eggs, which they said was an indicator of exactly what our buying power is as individual consumers. Inflation cannot go hyper unless you print way more money. We're actually going to be printing less money. We're going to be saving more dollars in the federal government, which lowers your cost of living because taxpayers didn't get a break. And we spend more money lowering the federal deficit over a period of 4 years. How can inflation get hyper when we spending less money, going to have more businesses investing inside of the United States of America and committing capital, while at the same time printing less money? Do y'all understand how money works? You don't understand how money works? Interesting. Shout out to Caroline. Is it Levitt? Shout out to Caroline. I remember Sarah Huckabee Sanders used to be Trump's press secretary, and then she wound up becoming, I believe, governor. So it's interesting. Yo, we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. We just be saying stuff. I hate having to repeat myself a lot of times. I hate having to re-educate people, but I am mindful that there are people that may be watching the program and this is their first time here. I know A. Dunn is not their first time here. Sometimes people just say stuff in order to get my attention. But, you know, we're going to make sure that we continue to keep the people in the back of the room educated. Sometimes you got to call on them to read, bring them to the front of the congregation so that they'll start to get better, and then they'll be shamed into doing better instead of just saying random stuff inside of the chat. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go over to the next part of the show. Shout out to LeFleur. I appreciate you, LeFleur. Only states affected are the poor states. Interesting. Supreme by Nature TV says, thank you, AD. Keith, the unbeaten has been beaten. I don't even know where he got that unbeaten from. Fatir Woods says, thanks for the info, AD. I've been spoiled by timestamps and watching live streams after the timestamps are up, but wanted to contribute for filtering info and making it easier to digest. Also looking forward to the next Stock Club. Stock Club is actually coming up on Wednesday. Stock Club is coming up on Wednesday, and then I'm dropping a video this weekend. Shout out to Fatir Woods. I appreciate you. Molly says the Department of Education only exists because President Jimmy Carter wanted to get elected, not to benefit actual children. And I believe that the education in this country has been going down since the Department of Education has been created. Thank you, Molly. AD, are you going to have to start pinching them lips? That's what they mamas used to do when they was younger. They act like they ain't had no home training. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. AOC. So they are saying AOC is being seen as the true leader of the Democratic Party. Let me say that again for the people in the back. AOC is being tabbed as the true leader of the Democratic Party. That is the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. AOC and Bernie Sanders is on the Fight Oligarchy tour. And let me tell you, they actually have a whole lot of liberals that have been showing up to this tour. A whole lot. And they are trying to replace Chuck Schumer and unseat him. And so this is how they're doing it. I want to show this from a couple different views. And so this is how I'm going to present it to you guys. We're going to go to a more of a liberal platform, and then we're going to move over into Fox News so that we can cover this efficiently. So this is what's happening with AOC in their Fight Oligarchy tour is being brought to all of these different states.
Bernie Sanders hosted a rally in Tempe tonight, speaking out against President Trump's administration and the cuts coming down from Washington. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was there, and she is joining us live. And Bianca, why did they pick Arizona?
Caribe, they say they're targeting swing states and districts, and this was the first of 2 rallies planned for Arizona, and thousands of people showed up for it. AOC and Bernie Sanders spoke out against President Trump, but whether their message will stick here in Arizona remains to be seen.
Thousands of people packing the Mullet Arena in Tempe, while thousands more watched from an overflow site outside to listen to politicians from the other side of the country.
The distance between us is a lot shorter than we think.
Prominent progressives Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez bringing their Fighting Oligarchy tour to the Valley, raising concerns over President Trump's administration and influence of Elon Musk.
If we're going to make America great, you got to have the best educated workforce in the world.
I believe that in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, if a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt. Common sense.
Promoting policies that they...
Hey, imagine sitting in a stadium. Imagine sitting in a stadium, because I'm going to tell you what I believe that the strategy is, but imagine sitting in a stadium, listening to Bernie Sanders and AOC give a speech that is as basic as saying, I believe that when people get sick, they shouldn't lose their health insurance. Imagine sitting in an overflow site and in a stadium where they're basically campaigning, because that's what I believe that the strategy really is. I believe that they are positioning themselves individually to benefit so that they can possibly unseat Chuck Schumer. People believe that AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and Bernie Sanders is the face of the new Democratic Party. And so people want a voice amidst a falling and failing Democrat Party whose polling numbers is absolutely dismal. You see a lot of liberals, and they're going to be doing it in all of these swing states. You got Tim Walz, who still want to make sure that he remains relevant. Tim Walz on an interview said that he had recently spoken with Kamala Harris, and he was trying to get her to re-energize themselves so that they can gear up for a possible another run at a 2028 presidential election, if that's what she wanted to do, if she decided that she didn't want to run around for governor of California. And I said, Timmy Walz, Timmy Tampon Tim Walz, I even seen Tim Walz's daughter drop a video on TikTok, making sure that she go at people and hold them accountable and things like that. So they are trying to get proactive and take a page out of Trump's book and strategy, which I believe is a smart thing to do for Democrats. And they're taking, I don't know if you want to pick somebody as liberal left as AOC, but they're basically trying to take a page out of Trump's book when Trump basically continued to campaign and have conversations despite the fact that he was under political persecution and prosecution over 2020, 2021, 22, and 23, so that they can put themselves in a position to possibly even run for the president of the United States of America. That's what I believe is happening. And so people in the Democratic Party are already jockeying for position so that eventually within 2 or 3 years, they can put themselves in a position to not only hold on to their seats, but possibly run for the president of the United States of America. But here's what I'm wondering. As AOC pulls up to Arizona and they go to these swing states and stuff like this, right? I did a little bit of research this morning prior to adding this into the docket of the things that I wanted to talk about. And what I realized is not only did AOC kill the Amazon deal that would have brought more jobs to her own district, she never replaced it with anything, A, and B, the people in her district is still suffering. So if you go over to all of these places that they actually preside over as senators and congresspeople, why would you want, because I know that it's popular, social media, knowing how to market people, the Democrat Party is now pushing money and putting money. What you think that they're able to just get these tours off the ground and do all of this promotion just based off of them going live on TikTok and Instagram? You think that they're able to pack these places because they are going live on Instagram and TikTok? You think that that's what generates the revenue for them to be able to book a stadium? This is funded. This is funded. This is a funding that is being perpetuated by donations and taxpayer dollars. Nobody still accounted for or had a conversation about how Kamala Harris spent $1.5 billion during her campaign. That just went away like nothing. Nobody tripped about it. After about a week or two, we knew that Al Sharpton got his money. We knew that All of these different entities got their money. We know that Beyonce got her money. We know that Oprah got her money. We know that all of these liberals was getting to their bag, and nobody is having a conversation about how they overspent, why they were still in the deficit, and where the rest of the $1.3 billion went. Nobody knows. Nobody. It just went away. It just somehow vanished. A new story came out. Jay-Z got accused by a chick that was dyslexic and was on the spectrum, and everybody focused on that, and nobody had a conversation about the type of money that was being spent on Kamala Harris's campaign anymore. So how are they booking these stadiums is what we have to ask ourselves. Come on, we got to deep dive deeper, and we got to figure out where it comes back to the money. Who is funding this? Who is funding the AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders Fight Oligarchy Tour? Because if you think this is really about oligarchy and this is not a marketing campaign, you a fool. You always have to ask yourself, who is in the back that is funding these things, and how are they able to rent out an entire stadium to basically allow for people to be able to come in for free? How are they able to do it? How are they able to do it? Who's funding it and who's benefiting from it? That's what we need to ask ourselves, okay? We got to ask the uncomfortable questions. Even though it's not kosher to do, we got to ask the question.
They say benefit working class Americans.
We will not accept a society today in which we have massive income and wealth inequalities, where the very rich have never done better while working families are struggling to put food on the table.
They're standing in a state that Trump won. 36% of Arizona voters are registered Republicans, and 33% are independent, compared to 29% who are Democrats.
We have to get involved. We have to get active. We have
Right.
to get engaged.
The speech is resonating with this
Now
crowd.
you asking the right questions. Why are they saying fight oligarchy? Especially when, because this campaign has already been put together a long time. Elon Musk has lost a significant chunk of his net worth directly tied to the value of Tesla, which if SpaceX went public, if Neuralink went public, if all of these other companies went public, he'd literally be considered probably a trillionaire. So I'm not really sure if Elon Musk is sweating the way that they think that he is. Although, losing a lot of your net worth to do the thing that's right for the American people is absolutely one of the most American things that you can do, because he's basically giving away his wealth. He could have just marketed himself and continued to sell more Teslas. As a matter of fact, who's to say that it's not even in Elon Musk's best interest to support an AOC, to support a Jasmine Crockett, to even have supported Kamala Harris? But because he believes in the fabric of what America truly is, he's doing the right thing and he's making a sacrifice. So then they will say, well, we're going to fight oligarchy, and they don't include millionaires no more. You know why? Because they all millionaires. They're all millionaires. You can't say we have to fight millionaires because they now are a part of that class. They have to say, well, we're going to fight billionaires. This is an oligarchy that we have to fight against. That's what they have to market themselves as. They can't do it anymore. All right. But I want to share with you guys the conservative perspective. This is Sean Hannity having a conversation about AOC being seen as a true leader in the Democratic Party polls. This is what he had to say about it. Let me share my screen with you guys really quickly so that you can get the full story and what Democrats are saying versus what Republicans are saying.
Democratic Party, they remain leaderless, and party infighting has only intensified following Chuck Schumer's support for the Republican funding bill. And NBC News is now reporting several House.
Uncut says a millionaire these days is not what he used to be. Facts. I agree with you. 100% it's not what it used to be. But it doesn't mean that it's not significant. And it doesn't mean that it's not a class war. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a bigger divide between the haves and the have-nots. But you are absolutely right about that.
Democrats, they are urging AOC to primary Schumer in 2028. Starting today, the Congresswoman is joining Bernie Sanders at a series of rallies in Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and that's further sparking questions about her considering a run for higher office, which, by the way, it may surprise you, I am highly supportive of. After all, she is the true leader of the radical Democratic Party. Let her hold her rightful position. And according to a new CNN poll, voters believe AOC embodies the party's core values more so than both Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. Here with reaction, former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, along with the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan. Look at this, the dynamic duo. I have no idea who to go to first. I really don't. I have no idea.
You go to Jim. Go to Jim.
Mark's older.
Go to the
Mark's
chairman.
older.
Go to him.
Mark's older. Oh, wow. That's cold. All right, Mark, we'll start with you. AOC is the leader of the party. Jasmine Crockett's the leader of the party. Chuck, has to now grovel to stay in power. Whether or not he's successful or not, time will tell. I'm okay with AOC leading the party.
Well, obviously, she represents the vast majority of that extreme left wing of the party. But the poll that you were talking about, Sean, the interesting thing is, had Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders not been in that poll, it would have been 1 in 4 actually believes that she should lead the party. So is that making Chuck Schumer sweat? Yes, you can't imagine, like a hot day in South Carolina, he's sweating. But the real problem is this is not about personalities, Sean. It's about policy. And the fact is their policies don't work. 77 million people let their voice be heard on that particular subject back in November.
Jim Jordan, I'm getting very nervous now about the actions of the Democratic Party. If they want to hold bingo cards, fine. If they don't want to stand for mothers that lost their children, okay, that's on them. They don't have a soul, in my view, but that's fine. But now that they're going into Republican districts with their talking points, trying to create a hostile atmosphere, now we're talking about danger. Now that you have groups and even congresswomen that are supporting going after Elon Musk the way they are, like Jasmine Crockett did that we showed earlier, that is a frightening scenario.
No, it's scary, and it's not going to help them politically. I mean, when you embrace crazy, you're going to be at a 27% approval rating. I don't care who leads their party. As long as they're embracing these crazy policies, it's going to be a win for us. And I think President Trump probably said it best. It's common sense versus crazy. So go down the list. It is crazy to defund the police. It is crazy not to have a border. It is crazy to have men compete against women in sports. It's crazy to attack Teslas and burn them up, go after dealerships. And maybe the one that is front and center on Americans' minds is what this judge did this past week. It is crazy for an unelected federal district judge to say, turn the plane around, bring back hardened gang member criminals who are here illegally, turn them around, bring those bad guys back to America. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that is now their party. And if they want to continue to embrace the craziness, we'll keep doing the common sense things that President Trump talks about and is getting done for the American people.
I think that it's a mistake for Democrats to even go further left and go more left-leaning with the type of people that they basically embracing. Bernie Sanders has always been unelectable. When he ran for president of the United States of America, I said that Bernie Sanders is so far left-leaning that he is completely unelectable. And you know what the Democrat Party is doing right now? Instead of embracing Chuck Schumer, moving more middle to work with other Republicans and being more bipartisan. Actually, that's what I think that Gavin Newsom's strategy is. I don't know if it's going to work because basically liberals are becoming even more indoctrinated and they're becoming more left-leaning, while at the same time, there are a lot of people that's actually leaving the Democrat Party. I believe that Gavin Newsom's strategy is to rebrand himself to be more left-leaning, more right-leaning or more towards the middle, more of a moderate Democrat. And that's why he's having conversations with both Tim Walz, with Charlie Kirk. He'll have a conversation with a Republican. He'll have a conversation with a Democrat. I believe that his platform, him creating a podcast, is to have conversations to where he's basically allowing himself to be marketed to the American people so that he can gear up for a run for president in 2028. Now, on the flip side, you still have people that are more radical, more left-leaning, and they have this hate Trump campaign, which will always peter out and it will not win them a national election. And when it comes down to it, when people start to go to the polls and when we get to the midterms or we get to election season, if you have AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and Bernie Sanders at the top of the tickets or at the top of the Democrat Party, and that's who the people that you're defending on, Republicans is going to be in power for a long time. Republicans are going to be in power for a long time because most Americans don't want men and women's bathrooms. Most Americans do not want illegal migrants over into this country. Most Americans do not want fraud, waste, and abuse inside of the government, regardless, because people that are not extreme liberals, even if you are a Democrat, you just don't say nothing. We've seen a whole lot of Democrats just shut the hell up during this past election, and it was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm crazy. I'm confused. I'm not sure what is happening. They just wouldn't even talk about immigration. If you would have approached any Democrat, any woman, any man during this past election season, and you said, hey, man, why are you voting for AOC? Or, hey, man, why are you voting for Kamala Harris? Hey, fam, why do you support Tim Walz? You know that he support tampons in boys' bathrooms, right? Why do you do this? Why would you do this? For some subjects, like the only thing that they can say is, well, that's a black woman, or I don't like Trump, or Project 2025, or something. It was something that had to do with something that they didn't like about something else. But they could not stand on why they actually supported things. And what AOC and Jasmine Crockett is they basically saying, we so mad. They don't have anything to stand on from a policy perspective. They don't have anything to stand on logically that would affect families. Their districts is in disarray. The places and the people that they serve actually don't have jobs. There's bigger unemployment in the places that they serve. And so all of these people are just becoming more extreme. And even if you see a large majority of their base showing up to come and see them, it does not translate into them being successful when it comes to controlling our three branches of government. If you're picking AOC, if you're picking Bernie Sanders and Jasmine Crockett as your people that you want to rock out with you, then y'all are going to be absolutely in trouble. Y'all going to be in trouble. We support you. We support Kamala Harris, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders. We support y'all. We support y'all rocking out with them, because that's just going to make sure that we stay in power for a long time. If they're not looking at the polls and realizing that they are failing bad, y'all in trouble. So good luck on y'all tour. God bless y'all. I hope that y'all make a lot of money and that y'all get funded by whatever entity is funding y'all to go on these tours, and that it works out for you. All right. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next part of the show. And make sure that y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. If you haven't already, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to this channel, and turn on your notifications. All right. Let's see what we got here. Damian Cross says, how can people make all of this noise about Trump making moves, but didn't make a sound during Biden's term? You know why. I told you that AOC Ratchet Crockett is on top. We're going to talk about it tonight. My girl Mika. Rush King 19 says, crazy that there's people going with them on their tour. Like, do you guys not have jobs? I don't know what the hell is going on. Chuck admitted that they are sending people to these events. Of course they are. Faith M says, 80, let's just call out AOC for who and what she really is, an agent of chaos. Facts. K58 AOK says, are you worried about food not tasting as good if RFK takes chemicals out of our food like the way it is? Listen, fam, I'm going to be honest with you. The last thing I'm worried about is the taste of food versus the chemicals that's in it. We got more people claiming to be ADHD. We got more people that's on the spectrum. They keep saying we funded more money into cancer research in the last 20 years than any time in history. We've put literally billions, if not trillions of dollars. And we did more walks. We didn't have more pink. We didn't have more ribbons on our shirts. We didn't wear pink shoes. All of that stuff. And you know what I see? There's more people getting cancer than ever before. There's more people coming up with these weird things than ever before. There's more people suffering than ever before. The last thing that I'm worried about is the taste of the food. If you go overseas, some of y'all need to get y'all passports and go overseas. Go over to Japan, go over to any of these countries, go over to Bucharest. They don't have the type of stuff that we have in our food. And it tastes naturally better. Naturally, it just tastes better. We don't need red number 9. We don't need all of that stuff inside of our food. We want our children. I'm not worried about whether or not it tastes good. I'm whether or not my children can go to the grocery store and get the right thing to eat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm not worried about the food not tasting as good. That's the last thing that we worried about. Let me see. Maxwell says illegals need to be able to pay their own bills like they do in their own countries. If they can't, they need to get deported. Shout out to Maxwell. Also says illegals need to get double taxed and receive no returns for being in the country illegally. Failure to file gets them deported. You said that you time home at number 2, huh? Armand says, Anton, this is my first time checking in. Keep doing the Lord's work. God bless you. God bless you too. Good afternoon to you too, Armand. Mr. Joe says Democrats want a promotion for doing nothing. $6,000 to families with babies, help the middle class. Their policies don't even make sense, says GR's Infantry. Uncut Underground says the mad laid off veterans, anti-globalists, anti-Israel MAGA, going to be looking for a new home in a year. They are going somewhere, but it won't be left. Just the brown girl in America says, hey, AD, just send an offering and love. We should always give offering to those that pour into us. I appreciate you. Some of y'all are familiar with me and how I pay tithes to the streets. If you want to see what that looks like, you can go on the other channel, go on my vlog channel and see what that is. Moses King says, good morning, AD. If Jasmine Cockroach runs for president and wins, would you move out of the country? Man, I ain't never moving out of my country. Listen, the one thing that you ain't never got to worry about, first of all, I ain't never worried about Jasmine Crockett winning the president of the United States of America. However, no. Listen, if I can endure through Biden and Kamala Harris, I can deal with anything. I feel like I'm built for the world. If I can deal with Biden and Kamala Harris, I can deal with anything. And no, I'm never moving out of my country. I never anticipate moving out of the United States of America. This is my country. I was born and raised here. My parents was born and raised here. My great-grandparents was born and raised here. We're not moving. This is our country. We're going to do what we got to do, and we're going to continue to hold on. We're going to continue to hold on to the office. Now, the one thing that I want to get into next is something that has been being shared on social media. And so I want to share it with you guys because this is something that I don't think that a lot of people are paying attention to. And so let's just have a little bit of a conversation about it, all right? So the thing that people are complaining about on social media is mortgage payments. They're saying that their mortgage payment, my mortgage payment, it's going up. I can't believe I should have never bought a house. My mortgage payment is going up or whatever. And so people are complaining about the cost of living. Of course, they're whining about interest rates. Some people are house poor because they can't move out of their house because if they sell their house and they take the equity out, then they got to go and refinance and they got to get it over a 6% rate, especially if you're financing for over 15 years. And so there's a lot of people that are complaining that the payments that they're making to the mortgage companies are going up. I want to explore that with you guys. Let's get into it.
My mortgage payment went from $1,600 to $3,500. This is all I have been seeing going on my timeline on TikTok right now on how everybody's mortgage rates are increasing. Honestly, I can tell you what, when I first bought my house and I had a realtor, my realtor did not tell me anything. I bought the house. I didn't know what I was doing. I was not a realtor then, of course. And I did not learn about my payment until the closing day. I did not know how much my mortgage payment was going to be until the closing day. And I signed on the dotted line. At that point, for me, I was ready to buy a house. So I just felt like it was what it was. Unfortunately, my mortgage payment is $1,600 and it's still $1,600. But I guess my question is, for everyone's mortgage that's going up, like I know it's a terrible situation, but also when you are purchasing your homes, are you not understanding what questions to ask your lender? Because you can always.
So let me first say this. It is not your realtor's responsibility to tell you how taxes work, how property taxes work, how insurance work, how maintenance work. It is not their responsibility. The realtor's responsibility is to take your criteria, which some of these realtors got a hell of a job because they don't get paid unless you actually buy a house. The realtor's responsibility is to show you the houses within your budget that meet the expectations for whatever the criteria is, and that's it. Is to ensure that the deal goes through or whatever it is that you say you like. That is their responsibility. It's not their responsibility to make you financially literate. It's not their responsibility to make sure that you qualify. It's not their responsibility to find out exactly what your property tax is going to be. You do your due diligence. When I go to the dealership, I already know the car that I want. I know everything about it. I know what the horsepower is. I know the difference between the jailbreak and the regular. I know the difference between the Scat Pack and the Hellcat. I know the difference between the Hellcat and the Red Eye. I know the difference between 707 and 717 horsepower. I know the difference between 717 and 817 horsepower. I know the difference between, what the jailbreak is going to be. I know the wide body. I know everything about it. I done watched every video that you can think of on YouTube. I'm obsessed with the car. I know how they can steal it. I know what I got to do as far as to make sure that they can't steal it. I know, whether to garage it. I know what the insurance race is going to be on it. I know everything. It is my responsibility to know what my affordability is going to be and what I'm doing. I know what the tire is going to cost, the maintenance is going to cost, all of that. I know what the interest rate is going to be if I finance it. I know what the dealership is going to say if I say I want to pay it cash. So then I say, oh, okay, well, I'll finance it. And then they give me a deal, and then I pay it off cash, and so I get it cheaper than if I would have just bought it cash straight from the dealership, because they get incentives from the finance company to finance it, right? I know everything that there is to know about the vehicle before I go into the dealership, and it is my responsibility to know about it, and it's your responsibility to take care of it. It's not the dealership. The dealership's responsibility is to sell you cars, not make you financially literate. It's to qualify you. Okay? So I hate when people jump on these apps and then they start blaming the realtor. They start blaming them. So they got to take you through a financial literacy class of exactly what home ownership means, because they taking you to see a house so that they can sell it to you and close the deal. All right. We live in an information age. I will give you the crash course as to why I believe, and I haven't even watched this video yet, to be honest with you. I'll give you the crash course of what happened, okay? Usually what happens is, especially in a new construction, right? In a new construction, you're buying the land, you haven't bought the house yet. I got to be careful on the type of information that I give too, because some information I have to reserve because I give that type of information inside of the Patreon. But essentially, to make a long story short, your property taxes is going to jump because the mortgage company is now requiring you to not pay it separately, but to pay it as a part of what you pay to the mortgage company. So you're not paying the mortgage. Your mortgage is going to stay the same unless you got an ARM. Unless you got an adjustable rate mortgage that's going to jump or go down based off of whatever the interest rates are at that time. Your mortgage payment on a 30-year fixed, on a 15-year fixed, on a 10-year fixed mortgage, it stays the same. That is the money that you are going to pay to the finance company for the next 30 years. 30 years. 30 years. That, oh God, 360 payments. 300. I just can't fathom. I don't know how the bank tricked y'all into this, how they got y'all to do this, and y'all market it to each other and say, man, we need to get a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage, 360 payments. Woo! And that don't even account for the property taxes, the maintenance, the insurance. That don't account for the utilities. That don't account for nothing. Oh man, I just can't. I can't. And if you get behind for 3 months, they can take your house and resell it. Man, that's crazy. 30 years a slave? No, dog, not 30. At least 15, not 30. At least 15. That's because people, a lot of times, they determine the type of house that they're going to buy based off of what they think their payments are going to be. Your mortgage payment is going to be the same. But what the mortgage company does is they then take escrow. Escrow is the amount of money that they anticipate paying over to the county and property taxes. And so they continue to reserve that amount if they have an escrow shortage, meaning that the value of the property jumps significantly, especially after you build a home on it. guess what happens? They have to take more to cover for the amount that they're going to have to pay in the future and the shortage that you have. Yep. And that is the main reason why y'all mortgages jump, is because either A, you have an escrow shortage, or B, the amount that you have to pay in property taxes absolutely exploded for a number of reasons. And so now your mortgage payment, which is not even a mortgage payment, but the money that you pay to the mortgage company, is going to jump, in her case, $1,900. Oh, you didn't know. You said that you want that big house. Oh man, I can afford it. I make 100 plus. I got a 6-figure dude. I make $200,000 a year. Our combined income and all of this stuff. Oh, but you didn't know if you get that $1 million property, you're gonna be paying $20,000, $30,000 a year in property taxes. You didn't know that $20,000 property tax bill was coming right along with that $1 million property, depending on what county that you live in, what city that you live in, what state that you live in. You didn't know that that was coming too, did you? Oh, you just thought that you was paying for the property. You didn't know that you had to pay the property taxes because they got to make sure that they get them schools funded. Yeah, the millages to keep that college open. Taxes, 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 taxes. Yeah. Oh no, you want the big house that need the maintenance, and you got the property maintenance, you got your maids coming, you got all of that. Oh, I want to get a $2 million house, a $3 million house, a $4 million house. Well, make sure you set aside an additional $80,000 to pay property taxes every single year on it. Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that you was going to be paying $80,000 in property taxes? When I drive by, right? I used to drive by when I was younger, and we used to go, me and Rita, we used to take these rides through these nice neighborhoods, and we would say, yeah, watch this. Yeah, we're going to get that house. We're going to be able to afford this house. Watch this. We was manifesting in our dreams. We wasn't manifesting in property taxes, though. Now, when I go and look at something, and when I'm paying attention to it, you know what the first thing I do? And the Patreon members know, go and watch the last video that we did, the last live stream that we did inside of the Patreon, where I showed y'all all of the tools that I use. You know what the first thing that I do? I go to my property tax calculator. You able to put in exactly what the zip code is. You're able to also put in exactly what that school district is, because just because you live in a specific city doesn't mean that you're in the same school district. They have different school districts for different cities depending on where you stay, right? I look at the property tax calculator. I don't care about how much the property costs. I can get the money for the property. It's the property taxes that I'm paying attention to. And they only going up. They only going up. They not going down. They going up. Know how y'all like to say generational wealth, generational wealth. Half of you, if you passed your property on, if your parents passed their property on to you, you wouldn't even be able to afford the maintenance and the upkeep, let alone the property taxes. You ain't got no choice but to sell. And you competing against institutional investors that's driving up the price of these property taxes, you ain't got no choice. You can't take the maintenance of that house. You ain't got no choice. If you don't get into this capitalistic game, you are going to fail and go broke anyway.
Always ask your lender, when you go under contract on a home, to show you what your monthly payment is going to be. Of course, it's going to be an estimate, but also at the closing table, when the attorney is going over how much you're going to pay for your mortgage, and they give you a piece of paper that has all your mortgages for however many ever years that you have to pay your mortgage for. At that time, when you're signing your papers, don't just sign the papers, just ask questions that you may have about your mortgage. Because once you sign and close on your home, that's your home. And then years down the line, you're looking at, you have to sell your home. So it's like unfortunate. Of course, property tax always goes up. So, that could be another question. When you're buying a home, ask about the property tax. Another thing that could kill you is incentives. Sometimes it's good to have incentives on new construction homes, but sometimes it's not, especially when you're doing the 2-1 buy down. Basically, when your interest rate is going to be one price for 1 year, it's going to go up the next year, and then it might go up the third year. Ask what your mortgage rate is going to go up to for the third year. You might can afford the house for year 1 and 2, but if you can't afford it for year 3, then what's the point of getting the incentive? Like, don't just go looking into a new construction because they're giving you $10,000 and they're giving you a 2-1 buy down, because you might be the next person where you're going to be saying, my mortgage payment was $1,500 and now my mortgage payment is $2,500 because my realtor didn't tell me this or the lender didn't tell me that. Like, you also have to do your own research when you're purchasing a home. I don't know, like, what questions do y'all have as far as purchasing a home, as far as property tax, as far as your mortgage going up?
No, y'all wanted to be homeowners. You wanted to move out of the hood. You wanted to have this conversation. No. Remember y'all kept talking about, and y'all was listening to Flippin' NJ and all of these people and house hacking, and I wanted to make sure that, I'm a part of the, generational wealth. What do y'all call it? Passive income. All of these dumbass terms that they keep finessing y'all with. Remember y'all wanted to do that? Here's another guy giving his insight on how his mortgage went from $3,200 a month to $5,600 a month. $3,200 a month. Fam, you got to get 2 new jobs. And you got a DoorDash. And you're going to be house poor. And you can't put no furniture in that mug. And most people, let me tell you what most people do when they buy a new home. They got to get new furniture. Yeah, you wanted to get that 8-burner stove. You wanted to get that the stove with the red, knobs on it, because you wanted to impress your friends. You wanted to do it for Graham. Remember that? You wanted the cabinets that also look like it's all cabinets, but one of them is really a refrigerator. Remember you wanted that one? That costs. You got to go and buy furniture. Now you in Art Van, now you in Value City Furniture, now you in Garden City, and you trying to get some furniture on credit. You ain't got no more credit.
Tell me why my mortgage went from, don't judge me here, $3,200 a month to $5,600 a month.
I got on my shorts.
Backstory here is
right after this.
I was looking for a house back in 2022, and I put in offers on multiple homes. So we decided to go, they got declined, and they wanted 50 to 60 grand over asking price for the home with no contingencies. And all that kind of stuff.
Now you ordering furniture on Amazon. You got a basic desk. You got this high-ass home with this basic desk because you got to order all of your furniture from Temu. Now you got Temu furniture because you can't afford the lifestyle. If your furniture don't match your house, then that means you bought too much house. You need to go and downgrade. That is too much house for you. And I ain't even talked about HOAs.
Long story short, I bought a new home with Ryan Homes. The worst decision I've ever made in my life, I swear to God, and I am paying for it till right now. Long story short, I'm actually selling that home right now. Bought a mortgage with Ryan Homes, and I am the last house that's built on this subdivision, the absolute last house. When I signed on,
hold on. You wanted to live with white people, remember? Remember you wanted to go and live with white people because you got better schools and all of that. Y'all better learn to fix up what you got and take care of what you have and appreciate it, because it's not always greener on the other side. Sometimes it may cost more green, but you're not ready for it. Now you wearing regular clothes. You used to be stunned. You used to be able to go shopping every Friday. You know what? I want to get fresh. Now you can't go to the club no more. You can't go into the casino with me. You can't come out of town no more because you got to go and hustle so you can pay your mortgage for the next 30 years. And then as soon as you die, your children is going to sell your house because they can't afford it either. You got to go hustle so that you can pay that mortgage and kill yourself for the next 30 years, and then your children is going to sell your crib, or even worse, they're going to do what they did last night. They're going to try, Molly, what they going to do like they did last night? It's going to be your girl going to get the life insurance money, and she going to have a whole nother man, a homosexual in your house, busting her down right after you die. You're going to pay off that mortgage. You're going to die 5 years later. You're going to be 89. And then your girl who you married because you wanted a younger woman, she gonna be 57, and she gonna have a homosexual busting her down on a house that you died, you sweated your blood, sweat, and tears, and you died for that house so that she can have another man in there busting it down for a real one. That's what's gonna happen. That's the reality of what your life is gonna be like. Don't say I didn't tell you.
32 and some change. And I was fine with that because that's what I expected, the size of the home, X, Y, Z, yada, yada, yada. Come to find out that, again, I had a realtor during this time, but with new construction, Ryan Homes doesn't pay the realtor a commission. So I was like, well, okay. I'm not going to ask him to come in and do any kind of work.
He's going to be a ghost crying in the corner, Carlisle.
So I let him know what I was doing, and then ended up being no
down for a real
so
anyway, please.
Next thing I know, I get the first tax bill on the property with land. On the property with the home build. The taxes were $16,000.
Which is like $1,600,
$1,400.
Yep.
So that's not not the half of it. So I then go call, like, hey, is this right? Is this correct? Like, yeah, that's your correct property taxes. We're not sure why, but
you want to be rich?
Ryan Holmes should have did your estimate based off what your taxes could be on the home, because you're the last home built. So there's plenty of comps in the area that they can use as, hey, your taxes could be this. However, they use taxes off the land because it's going to show you a cheaper mortgage.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, so what do you have to do? Well, you got to pay them, so your property taxes go up. Okay. The next part of this is that being that my property taxes will be this, and being that the property taxes were underestimated for that year of 2023, I believe it was. Now my escrow account is negative $11,000.
Because the mortgage company basically fronted you the money and they paid the property taxes off to protect their investment, but you got to pay the mortgage company back. So now they're going to increase your mortgage, or how much you're paying to the mortgage company, the difference, and they got to collect the escrow for next year. And so that's why the money that you're paying to the mortgage company increases so much. Yep.
My escrow account is negative $11,000 because Ryan Homes only used property taxes on the land. So now I not only have to get my current property taxes updated into my mortgage. Now I have the rears back taxes in my mortgage. People, when I tell you, I almost lost my shit. I did lose my shit. I'm not gonna lie. I lost my shit. I completely lost my shit because it's something they don't tell you about new construction.
And listen. I want to encourage you, and the reason why I want to encourage you, young man, is this. We're just gonna leave it there. We get the point. And I want to encourage you. And you know why I want to encourage you, young man? Because right after you lose your ish, you still gotta make the payment. You still got to come up with that $5,600 a month plus utilities, and you got to buy groceries, and you got to continue to make sure that you get the lawn cut, and don't build a deck in the backyard, because then you're going to have to pull up. You know why a lot of times why they want you to pull a permit? They don't want you to pull a permit for the permit fees. They want you to pull a permit so that they can be aware to come back and reassess your house for the value, so that they can increase the amount that they're taking in property taxes. You thought that you had to pull a permit. The reason why they were requiring you to pull a permit was because they wanted to get the fees and to inspect it to make sure that it was done right. They want you to pull a permit to any changes that you make so that they can reassess the property and charge you more in taxes. Oh, you son suckers. You suckers. You suckers. You did not pay attention to the paperwork because you were so eager to say, I'm a property owner. And then you wanted to put a red bow on the door and post it for the gram. You got to make that $5,600 payment. Then you got to make that $5,600 payment. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Uh-huh. They gonna appraise your house without you even being there. They come by without you being. You don't got to be there when they appraise the house. You don't have to be there. They're going to appraise it without you there. They got you. Don't worry about it. We'll send the bill. We're gonna send the bill in the mail. And you can go and protest it if you want to. I don't think it. Call, complain, whine. They're gonna talk to you just like Thanos did. You can dread it, run from it. You can dread it. You can run from it. You can do whatever you want to do. Either pay them property taxes or I'm going to come at the property tax auction and I'm going to be right there with my credit card like this. What? Swipe it, swipe it, swipe it, swipe it. I'm gonna be buying it. You pay it, or I buy it. You better get out there and DoorDash. You better get out there and Uber Eats. You better do what you got to do because I'm coming to get it. I'm coming to get your property. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for making sure that it was nice and safe and that you kept up the grass and you did all of that. But I need you out immediately. I'm going to call a sheriff if you don't get out of my property. I'm going to call a sheriff. And I like the touches that you did. I like the fact that you decided to put crown molding in, that you got wood floors. Man, I don't care nothing about that. You can take your little refrigerator. You can take your little microwave. We're gonna replace that. And we coming to get that property, big dog. Thank you. Thank you for your service. That's what I'm going to start saying to these people that get foreclosed on. Thank you for your service. The same way that we thank servicemen for going out there and protecting our country, I'm going to thank you for protecting our property. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Now, can you please exit the property? The sheriff is here to escort you out. And if you come back, then you will be trespassed. And if you come past this point right here, you will be shot. I'm sorry, but thank you for your service. Do you just like they do the veterans? Just like Biden was doing the veterans, that's what I'm going to do to you. Because you didn't read the fine print. And you wanted to stunt for the people on the ground. Don't worry about it. I'm going to put it to good use. I'm going to put somebody in there. Make sure I get a good tenant. Good single baby mama with a stepfather that take care of her. Give me a good tenant. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. The same information that I give y'all for relationships, that's what I use to vet people to make sure that they're good tenants. Get a good tenant in there and make sure that they pay their rent on time, and we're going to get them all set. Anyways, make sure. Yeah, I buy houses with credit cards. 100% I do. At the tax auction, it's much easier to just pay it off with a credit card. I showed y'all that last year. I showed y'all that last summer. Yep. Bought whole land, bought a bunch of stuff with a credit card. Swiped it all day long. What is the last 4 digits of your card number? Oh, right here. What's the back of the social security? Right here. I done bought all kind of stuff with credit cards. I done bought whole cars with credit cards. I done bought land with credit cards. I done built houses with credit cards. I done did all of that stuff. 100%. Yep, swipe. Hey, these don't got no limit on these. They don't have no limit on these. This one right here. You see how worn this is? You see all of the edges? I done swiped this card so much. This card done been swiped 100,000 times. Ain't no edges on that. Swipe. And don't pay no interest. Not one piece of interest. Not one time in my life. And took all of the points and bought all of my equipment inside of all of my computers, this MacBook Pro that I'm streaming on. All of that came as a result of points. I don't even know why they like me. If I was a credit card company, I would cancel me immediately. So don't make no point. They don't make no money from me. They hoping that I'll one day pay some interest. And they just keep losing every single month. I get all of the points. I get all of the trips. I get all of the hotels. I get everything. That's how I be giving hotel points over to homeless people. Hey, man, you need somebody to stay? All right, cool. I got you. Swipe it, swipe it, swipe it, swipe it, swipe it. Anyways, no edges, just like your girl's hair. No edges on the card. No edges, just like the girl's hair. Anyways, it's Friday. It's Friday, so you know we talking. No edges, just like your girl's hair. That's why she keep wearing all of them wigs. No edges. No edges on that card. Anyways, oh, let me read some of these super chats, and then make sure y'all tuning in for after hours tonight. Tonight we're gonna make sure we stay sucker free, and we're gonna have some great conversations. And Molly is gonna be there, and I might ask her to put her shoulders out so y'all can lust after her. Let me see. I had a client of mine tell me his mortgage jumped to $2,000. I said, "Oh, did they do a land assessment on you?" He said, "Yes." You know. Ask questions at closing. My husband and I spent 4 hours at closing. We had those folks break it all down before signing. Take accountability. Talk to them, Rashonda. A-Train says, can't believe I follow my family behind these Democrats. Come on over, big dog. Some of these people are exaggerating, talking about it jumped $2,000. New bills go up, yes, but not by $2,000 a month for the average house cost. Listen. How they assess the land is much different than how they assess what the property once it's built. The amount can jump. Listen, your amount can jump $600,000-$700,000 depending on what type of house that you purchase. 100% it can jump. 100% it can jump $2,000 a month. Absolutely, I'm telling you, Chad from Morris, 100%. Kamala Harris was getting ready to get, because you got to also understand that it's not just the property taxes that they're paying for the upcoming year, because that's what goes into the escrow account. What they're also paying is what they paid last year because they didn't assess it correctly, or they had to pay more than whatever it was that was in the escrow account. So they getting them for back property taxes, and they're getting them for the new assessed higher property taxes while the mortgage is still doing what it is. And that don't even have nothing to do with the insurance. 100% they can get you for more than $2,000 a month. Absolutely. You paying back property taxes, front property taxes, because the mortgage company got to protect their investment. They have to protect their investment. 100% you can be paying more than $2,000 more a month. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially on a new build. Y'all better educate y'all. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, then you are truly missing out on Block Club. I give every piece of game. All of the game. 100%. All right. 80 sounds like a hood bill collector. I'm coming to get my money. Baby, I got your money. Hey, dirty. Baby, I got your money. In 1960s, my bro bought a house, VA loan. He paid it off. Not only pay interest, still owe principal. You know, if you join the military in some places, you don't even have to pay property taxes, I heard. So many foreclosures is coming. Ooh, bad chasers. We about to be up. They buying newly, Chris Cunningham says, they buying newly built in the middle of the year. You have to get it at the end of the year so you get your first mortgage bill, land, and the land will have the new assessment in it. Let me see. Shout out to Mr. Hunter. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. Red Cup says, Libs, I don't mind paying more. Deficit covered. Cool. I'm with it, Mika. Sub-Zero says, do you talk about FHA 203K in your Patreon purchasing homes at 3.5 down, but it allows you to remodel and renovate it and include that in the loan? I do not suggest that people put 3.5% down. I do not. I always say that people 100% should put down at least 20% so that you can avoid PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. And they are basically insuring you because you are a riskier borrower against defaulting. I never suggest that you put 20% down on, or anything less than 20% down on the property, because you do not want to be paying them insurance in case you default, which is what private mortgage insurance is. Never, never, never. Forget renovating the house. Forget all of that crap. You can build it and you can change it as you go. You can do whatever it is that you need to do as you go, but do not, under any circumstance, let them finesse you and saying that, oh my God, you need to get 20, you need to get 3.5. Nah. You're going to get finessed, big dog. You're going to get finessed, big dog. All right? AD, most people don't have 20%. Well, then you need to lower the cost of the house that you're buying. You need to lower the place that you're going to buy a house, or you need to move back in with your mama. You need to go and save. You need to, you know what I mean? You know what my brothers did? My parents, when my brothers decided that they wanted to, my older brothers, you got to remember they're 6 and 7 years older than me. When my brothers decided that they wanted to go out and purchase their own home, first of all, they did it together. My two oldest brothers decided that they wanted to do it together because they could harness the power of their families. And so, you know, both of them was married. And so they decided, what up to my dog MTR? I'm definitely going to be reading that in a minute. They decided that they wanted to purchase it together. So first of all, my parents said, hey, why don't y'all move out or move back in the house? So we all just cramped up. We cramped the hell up. They moved back into the house. They stayed with my parents. They moved back into the house and stayed. They brought their whole families, new babies and everything. We had so many people inside of that house all at the same time. We had basement was full and it was cramped, but we had a ball. We just made it work. We just made it work. And it didn't matter how many bedrooms, it didn't matter. We just figured it out. They stayed there for 2 years. They saved up their money and then they went and bought a house together. And then eventually they moved out separately and they got their own houses. And so, you know, we don't want to get roommates. We don't want to make the sacrifice. We want to make sure that we can have some hoes and bust them down. So, you know, you need to bunk up. You need to get a friend. You need to get together and you need to stack your money. Stop buying cars that you don't need. Go and get you a used car. You know what I know about people is that they get done the things that are the most important to them. They get done the things that are the most important to them. They don't sit there and make excuses. You're going to go out of town. You're going to go and fly that hoe in. You're going to make sure that you get the car that you want. You get it at the worst interest rate. You go and get credit cards. You go to school. You do all of the things that you want to do. Most people will not do the thing that they are supposed to do, and they're looking for somebody to help them or government assistance or a handout, and then they go and get finessed as a result of it. Go and stop trying to do the lowest barrier to entry. Take your time, stack your money, put your 20% down, because you're going to go and make sure that you get that money for that goddamn Hellcat that you're not supposed to have. Go get your 20% down and do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. All right. Shout out to my dog MTR in the building. I appreciate you. Says tapping in. Much respect to you, Anton, and the community. Man, shout out to MTR out there doing the Lord's work. Doing the Lord's work, my guy, running it up, taking care of business, and educating these men in the community and the women. I heard there was a woman that was from the MTR Army that was on Pop the Balloon that did some great things. I said, man, I knew she was a part of somebody's army. It had to be MTR over there. So, yeah, man, listen, we got to make better financial decisions. We got to make sure that we're taking care of business. We got to make sure we're on top of things. And more importantly, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got after hours tonight. We're going to be popping off. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.